All right, welcome to the show today. Today we're going to be talking about secrets to become a real estate top producer. We have with us Tim Harris. He has over 20 years experience in real estate industry. He hosts a show with his wife called the daily podcast called Real
Real estate
Estate
coach.
Coaching Radio.
There
He
you
is currently
go.
recognized as one of the most influential podcasts in the real estate industry, and they also have a number one best-selling book called Harris Rules, which is on his hat right now, and he lifted up our new
So,
friend from Puerto Rico, Mr. Tim
well,
Harris.
I'm actually from Ohio. So I'm going to make this your shortest interview ever. Ready?
Mhm.
This is what they should buy. We're done. See ya. I'm going to the gym. No, seriously. But seriously, get the book. It's for sale at Barnes and Noble, bookstores. It's for sale everywhere. Amazon, obviously. So there you go. All right,
Love it.
got that plug in.
You got that good. Okay, so you're originally from Ohio, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now you're in Puerto Rico. So tell us, um, how did you get started into? How did you and your wife together collectively got started into the business?
Oh, I'm so glad you don't know us. This will be fun. So Julie and I've been. I am a 51, and my wife and I got started in real estate when we were still in college. We bought our first house when we were still in
Oh.
college before I had real estate licenses. And I'm going to guess I've been married for longer than you've been alive.
Maybe.
You want to take my bet?
Yeah, let's do it.
I've been married for 30 years.
Oh man, I've been to bed. I'll be 40 next year.
Oh, you don't look it, man. You're hanging in good. All right, good. All right, you win whatever the bet was. Okay, cool. So yeah, we've been in real estate for basically the whole time we've been married. We sold real estate for about 10 years in Columbus, Ohio. People that have been in the business for as long as we have will probably know us because of our coaching, from our podcast, from our books. But if they don't know us from there, they'll know us because our first year in the business, we sold 103 houses, and that broke all kinds of records. And from my understanding, no one's ever done it since. Now, these were individual owners. This wasn't just a subdivision or a building we had or something like that.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, wow. I don't think I ever heard anyone ever selling that many in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not their first year. There's a lot of people that sell, we have a lot of coaching clients that sell hundreds of homes per year, but they've been in the business for a long time. That's not so unusual
Oh,
nowadays.
you
Yeah.
see, there you
But
go.
we did it our first year. Yeah. Which really was a testament to, hard work more than anything, and doing what you don't want to do and you don't want to do it at the highest level
Oh,
consistently.
wow. So what was the strategy behind that? How did you guys literally put that together and executed it? That is amazing.
For sale by owners, mostly for sale by owners, and doing lots of open houses and double ending lots of deals, your listings, being, we didn't have all of our, sorry, I'm going to mute this.
Mm.
We didn't have all of our, we weren't coaches then. So we were just working hard really at the end of the day. And one of the things we later coined was furiously fast lead follow-up. But that was one thing that we were very good at. You came into one of our open houses or you contacted us or whatever, we are calling you back right away. We're instantly following up with you. And I have to say, that's so true. All you have to have really to be successful, if you get into real estate or any sales and you have energy and enthusiasm, that's number one. If you have furiously fast lead follow-up, that's number two. If you start with those two things, and it doesn't matter what your background is, whether you have a sales background or not, energy, enthusiasm, love the product, love the people you're working with as much as you can, and then you have furiously fast lead follow-up, then you back it up with skills, then you're going to have, there's no limits to what you can do with your life, for
Oh
sure.
wow.
Because that's where most people fail. Most people have no energy, enthusiasm. They do not do their lead follow-up is I'm going to put them in a drip campaign versus
Right.
actually doing the real work. And number three, they never actually back up their tall hat, no cattle. They never develop any sales skills.
Wow. So that is one of the, you think that's one of the main reasons that why real estate agents fail, because they just don't have that I guess that thrive, if you will.
Well, we do a podcast every day, I appreciate you mentioning. And like our typical podcast during the week will have, 40, 50,000 downloads. And so what we've seen we've been doing podcasts since 2014, and we've done over 2,000 shows, and we've never
Mhm.
changed our message. But what we're seeing is that like the agents are starting to really, it's not even discover us because we've been in the business forever, but they're discovering us. And what they're doing is they're washing out of doing all the passive lead generation stuff. So if you go,
Right.
like I'm on Clubhouse every morning and we do a Clubhouse and it's fun. I enjoy it. Maybe I won't in 6 months, but I do now. And so many people are finding our podcast, and so many people are buying our book and joining our coaching. They've already been doing all the passive lead generation stuff. They've already been doing the videos and all the stuff that is passive. So there's what we prescribe, and we always have to agents, is you start your business doing proactive lead generation, and that would be learning to do the real work of real estate. And then you enhance it with marketing. So proactive lead generation enhanced with passive lead generation. But what most agents are being trained, to answer your question, is they're never being trained to do the real proactive lead generation. They're always being beaten over the head constantly with passive lead generation. So they never develop any real sales skills. So if you, for example, if you're building a business based on videos and all these other things, all these other gurus, and all frankly our competition is telling agents to build, what you're doing is you're actually building your mansion, your castle, your business in essence, if you can just literally visualize a house on somebody else's land. So I'll give you an example. It's not a great example, but it's a good one because I bet you it'll make you laugh. You know the guy named Logan Paul? Logan Paul?
Yes.
See, he's from your generation, not from mine, thankfully. But so Logan Paul is moving down here, and it's going to be one of our neighbors. Okay. I don't know where he's going to live, but he's living where we live. And I read a little bit about him because there's Logan Paul's moving down. I didn't know who he was. So I read about him. And you want me to tell you a couple of funny things though?
Okay, tell us.
So Julie's been walking on the beach the other day, walking our French bulldog. And then two Puerto Rican guys come up to her and then start petting the French bulldog. And it turns out it was Ricky Martin and his son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, now this happened. Julie meets all these people I don't. And so Julie's over getting coffee the other morning, and she's walking in to get coffee. And who's there sitting there having coffee with his family? You might not know this guy. Hopefully you do. Sean Penn.
Oh, yes, I know Sean Penn. Yes.
You know what? I told this story to some people who were like, who's that? It's like, I don't know where the age cutoff is for Sean Penn. I think there's a demographic cutoff. Maybe like
Sean Penn is like really like one of the great actors, Sean Penn. Like nobody, come on.
I'm right there with you. Trust me. Bruce Willis was here. Like the same time. Oh, and you want me to tell you a funny Dave Chappelle story?
Okay, yeah, let's hear that.
All right, you're gonna have to get me back on track because now I totally forget what we were talking about. All right, so I'm driving in our golf cart. I have a friend named Jay Kenders with me in the golf cart. And so Jay and I are going this way. And remember, I'm just a poor kid from Ohio. So I tell you all these stories. Do not forget that I and Julie came from less than nothing. Okay. So this is all a mystery and a magical thing for us. So we're driving in our golf cart this way, and a big mob of people in Ritz-Carlton hotel bikes are going the opposite direction. You said you stayed here. So you remember the blue and white bikes are super hard to pedal. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but they still have those bikes?
Yeah, probably the same ones. They're gut pullers. You see the poor guests, when you see him trying to go uphill, it's like you feel so sorry for him. All right. Yeah. But you asked, your timing is perfect. So this big mob of people and hotel bikes are coming the other way. I pull my golf carts off to the side, and right in the center is Dave Chappelle. But I was just looking straight ahead, and Jay recognized him, said, "That's Dave Chappelle." I love Dave Chappelle. You know, he lives in Ohio. We're from Ohio. So I turned around the golf cart and went back up. And then I started going up the hill, to your point about the bike sucking. So I started going uphill. And then one of Dave's assistants had just ridden over Dave's sunglasses, which Dave lost going up this hill because the bike didn't want to go up the hill. So Dave is trying to rebalance himself on the bike. So Jay and I pull up behind the assistant guy, super nice kid. And then there's Dave. I say, "Mr. Chappelle." And he looks over at me kind of grouchy. I said, you have one of two choices. You either take a picture with us or we run over you. Okay, about the same time, he rebalances himself on the bike and he said, "Run over me, I'm on vacation."
It's like, he took no picture.
But wasn't that funny? And he had this big smile on his face. It was so perfect. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Oh, no, I forgot. That was too funny. Dave Chappelle is crazy.
He is crazy.
Let's talk about this.
Just like
we're talking about the lead generations. And so what are some proven strategies for lead generations?
Well, we'll just target it on it. So if you're an agent, you're getting into the business. Let me ask you, I don't know you, we're going to obviously become friends, but what's your credit, mortgage, I assume,
I've done it all. Mortgage, real estate, investment banking, private equity, you name it. I'm the guy.
Okay. So you're a super smart guy. So I'll laugh at you if you get this question wrong. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Ready? Okay. Now you're nervous. All right. So
I'm not nervous. I'm going. Go ahead.
Okay. If
I'm nervous.
All right, so I have two piles. I have two piles of leads in my hand. They're seller leads.
Uh-huh.
One pile are sellers that actually have their hands in their air right now and say, I want to sell my house. And the
Mm-hmm.
other pile are basically just general leads that someday in the future might one day, if you're lucky, if all the stars align and pigs fly, might actually decide to do business with you. So if you have to choose between doing business with these people and these people, which are you going to choose? My right hand or my left hand?
Your
Or
left hand.
okay,
On the
no,
left hand.
my right hand, right? Isn't that what you meant? See, I switched on you. I tricked you.
Why would you do that? Why would you trick me on my
Uh,
own podcast?
I,
This is not fun.
That's how I roll. Well, but so my point is like, so if you're an agent, you're getting into the business.
Uh-huh.
Agents are being told to build a brand, do marketing, do TikTok videos, do YouTube, become the mayor of your town,
Right.
create a social brand for yourself, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But if your goal in getting into real estate was to help people make money, why wouldn't you just go directly after the people who have their hands in the air right now saying, yes, I want to sell my house? You explain that to me. Explain how people are being lied to that's going to quickly and efficiently build their business. Now, I want you to think about this. Julie and I, so there's the
Mm-hmm.
statistic has always been that most agents fail in real estate within 2 years or less, right? I
Oh,
would be
wow.
willing, Julie and I have been doing some, it's not very drilled down or scientific, but in our opinion, the failure rate of agents has gone to 24 months. And, basically if they fail within 24 months or less, we think right now it's right around a year to 13 months. So because of, now it could be obviously competition and all the rest of it, but what it mostly is because agents aren't being told the truth how to build their businesses. So they're getting into this business. They're listening to people that are selling them snake oil. And the reason that they're selling them what they're selling, the social networking stuff, is because it involves no skill or rejection. So most agents are going to get into business. They're going to start doing all the passive lead generation stuff. Brand building is what it's being cloaked as. They're going to do it because they never have to have any skill. There's no rejection involved. And then they're going to fail out of the business and average a year. So we are the antithesis of that, because that pisses me off, frankly, because most agents are getting into the business and they don't have prior business or sales experience. So they don't know. They go to some seminar that their broker, sponsors, or they get some email, they listen to some guru, and the guru says, you got to build your brand or you have to do all this stuff. But the agents don't think, like, they're not filtering who they're getting information from. They don't know what questions to ask when deciding who to even listen to, let alone hire as a coach. I'm teeing you up for the perfect question. I wonder if it's going to get by you.
Oh, wow. That's actually really interesting. So, do you think social media has hurt or helped real estate agents?
For age, well, I mean, look at the statistics and the failure rate. Look at the age. So you know what saturation means from your PE days, right? So the social media stuff, if you wanted to get, like, there's influencers that live where Julie and I live, like people that get like millions of downloads for each video that they make. One guy I just met randomly, I couldn't, his series is about like his family. And I watched some of these videos thinking to myself, how the hell does he have over 1 million people per day watch these videos? It's insane. And
Right.
yeah, and he's making like mid 7 figures from this. But here's what I know: his advertising rate has been dropping. So what's happening is video itself, as an example, is becoming oversaturated. But you're moving, and everything else does too. But there's two prevailing points: never build your castle on somebody else's land because they could change it. Oh, I was talking about Logan Paul. That's what I was talking about before. See,
Yeah.
so Logan Paul started out on Vine, which I guess was a social networking app. And then
Yep.
that just went out of business. Then he started doing videos on YouTube. Then he does some video in Japan, which gets him blacklisted at YouTube. And I don't know the politics, but boom, he's off YouTube. So Logan had built numerous times his mansion, his castle on somebody else's land where he could just automatically lose that. And so what agents are doing without knowing it is they're not building real businesses. They're just, if you make a bunch of videos, the algorithm changes, consumer preferences change,
That's true.
right? All that changes. But most importantly, look, since I've been internet marketing and I do it, we obviously have to do some of it since 1996, in essence, when you could buy your own URL. All of it's changed. I remember, Google does these updates. People don't even talk about it anymore. And they give them these cute little names like Fuzzy Buzzy, Bunny Rabbit or whatever. And the next thing you know, all your SEO stuff goes out the window. You know what I'm talking about? You do.
Right.
So what's the one? So
Right.
basically, it's all essentially it's the shell game at the the old-fashioned fair where it's always going to be moving. But if you develop a skill set and you actually know how to pick up the phone, which is a lost art, but if you know how to pick up the phone, then you will never be without opportunity, no matter what the market is. And so that's the proactive part. The proactive part we coach agents to do is we want them to wake up in the morning and know every single day that they can set one pre-qualified listing appointment. In the afternoon, they go on a listing appointment, and we want them to take 90%. That's the essence of our business model, and that's what we teach them to do.
All right, so you really just going back old school, the best way.
I don't. So I hear old school a lot, and I do know why you're saying that, and I respect why you're saying it, but you're actually wrong. And you want me to prove it to you? Say yes. Yeah.
Yes. No. Yes.
It'd be funny if you said no. All right.
I
So
did
what's
in
the?
between.
It would be. I know. So what's the hottest apps? What's the hottest app that's coming out now that's even going to have supposedly more initial users when it goes public, even than Facebook? I already told you.
App now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you talking about TikTok?
No.
Oh, I know you're not talking about Clubhouse. No.
I am talking about Clubhouse.
Really?
Yep, Clubhouse, dude. Google it. I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm not on Clubhouse. I don't look. There's so many apps. I gave up. I don't. It's so many. But I know that Clubhouse is really like really gaining a lot of traction.
Well,
I didn't
so
even know. I
if
didn't
you
know it was that
believe,
popular.
yeah, it's not public yet. You can't. You have to get an invite. You have to get past the rope line. If you're on Android, they don't even have it for Android yet. But so here's the point. And Gary Vaynerchuk talked about this. If you look at everything that's happening right now with social networking, it's all moving to the spoken word. Clubhouse is proof that people want the spoken word. I don't want to watch your video that you've run through 5 filters and edited 10 times that makes you look like you're a rock star when you're really just a putz who doesn't know what he's doing skills wise. So with video, you can fake it, and everyone fakes it. It's all run through, you know what I'm saying? With spoken word, you can listen to somebody right away and know whether or not they're full of shit or not. And you can't fake it. Now, if you're on a Clubhouse, for example, if you're listening to a podcast and you're getting information, you will intuitively know that person, and this is overused word, is authentic or not, versus comparing it to somebody who's not. You can't do that in any other format, especially a video, especially an Instagram post, especially all the other things. And that's one of the reasons that the spoken word, whatever the term they're going to come up with it, that's going to be the way forward. Okay, I'll double down on it. Look at your home devices. Look at your smart speakers, all spoken word. Cars, you're going to be talking to your car. Everything is going to be based off words. And so look at now people will say, well, I'm a visual person. I only like to watch videos, but everyone can listen to something pretty much all day long. So what's happening are podcasts and now Clubhouse, and there's going to be Facebook's going to come out with their own Clubhouse. Twitter's going to come out with their own Clubhouse. How quickly someone like you or anybody else, if you wanted to start making videos, it's a lot of consternation. If you wanted to get on a Clubhouse, it's 1 click. If you want to start a Clubhouse room, it's 3 clicks. And then all of a sudden, after a while, you can have people from all over the world that are listening to you. Now, how do you make money as a real estate practitioner? There's a bunch of different ways. It's fascinating for me to listen to how the agents are figuring it out, but we can talk about that at another time. But the gist of it is everything is migrating toward the spoken word because that's what people want. They want to feel that connection. They don't want to have that literal filter of not believing what they're seeing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, So I've heard about Clubhouse, and I've seen it and online, but I never really just dug into it and kind of like seen what it really was about.
Dude, get all over it. I promise you, it's going to be a big thing. When it goes public, it's going to be crazy.
Oh wow.
Seriously. You know what I'll do? If you email me, email me your email and I'll send you an invite.
Okay.
You got to get an invite to get in. Yeah, I've got like 7 invites I can give away. I'll give you one.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Are you gonna give me a hotel room too in Puerto Rico at the Ritz or no?
I'll let you listen. I'll also do this. You can open up a club room under our club too. So you can do that. Everyone can do that too,
Okay.
Ours is called real estate coaching. I don't want to get into talking about Clubhouse because we'll bore.
Right, we're talking too much about them.
I know, but isn't that funny?
Right.
But you see, it's the spoken word.
Yeah, that is actually kind of cool. I never really thought about that. So now as I see it, now I see why people kind of like and gravitate to that. So do you think that realtors have really kind of found their little niche in that regard because now they can actually talk out to the audience and kind of educate them and kind of see their response?
Look at all the early adapters of all the newest technology, the people that figure out how to basically monetize it the quickest and how to disseminate information the fastest. It's always real estate people. But here, I have a question for you, just to make the final point. I just thought of this. I think it's a good point. Okay. Have you ever watched a news report and then just listened to it? Have you ever just listened to some big name news anchor just pontificating about something without watching it?
All the time.
Okay. Have you ever when listening to it, don't you hear it through a different set of filters than when watching it? In other words, don't you realize how little content is being delivered? Though, had you been watching it, you would actually have felt like you were having a different experience. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny though? Like I do that too. I'll listen to something, I'll be watching something and I'll just let it play in the background. And then I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, this is just a bunch of crap. You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
terrible. And
But
then
then
when
when you
watching,
look at it, it seems like, yeah, you're right.
you're being manipulated, your eyes are being
Yeah.
manipulated through the colors, through the scrolling bullshit down here, because the flashy this, that, and the other thing. But when you
Mm-hmm.
just listen, there's nothing there. It's all garbage. It's mind garbage. But
Mm-hmm.
the spoken word, you can't do that. So I think that's another reason is people are subconsciously, they want to know who, they want to get real information, feel like they're part of a community. And I also, this is the other thing that excites me the most. I think people are tired of being manipulated through these AI bots that have totally and completely, like, remember when Facebook actually was, useful, frankly? And
Yes.
now these AI bots are totally, well, it's happening across the board with everything. So in any event, I don't want to talk about it anymore unless you do.
No, I'm fine. Oh my goodness, this has been so much fun. This don't feel like work. This feel like I just had a good day. I had
Because we're
went out with a
talking.
friend I
Yeah,
went
we're
out had
talking,
a
right?
Do you oh, you know what? I have a question. Do you think that times will change for realtors as technology evolves? Do you think that realtors may be obsolete at some point?
Hell no. They've been saying that
Really?
since the 90s. That's such a bunch of crap. But here's the reason why. Okay, so you are about to transact on something. You're going to buy something, right? It's something. It's not a like if you're going to go out and buy a new, like in your price range, you're out there shopping new Ferraris, I'm sure. So you're going to go buy a new Ferrari, and it does not matter which dealership you go to. You're looking for what kind of Ferrari do you want?
The free one.
The free one. Okay. So you're shopping for a new 812 Superfast, and those cars cost about $375,000. So you're gonna find a red one here, a red one here, a red one here, and a red one here. You just want the red one, and you're just gonna shop for the lowest price, and because they're basically all the same, right? Nothing about
Yes.
real estate's the same. You could argue condos and buildings, but I could argue those are even more different. The locations in the building, how close it is to the stack where the utilities are, and the elevators, and what view it is, and where the wind blows, depending on how tall the building, blah 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 blah. So there's nothing the same about any real estate. Everything's completely different. And even as they start using blockchain to make it so the transaction itself goes smoother, assuming that actually happens, every single person, our lizard brains are wired to want somebody helping us with the tough decisions. And that's the reason ultimately there's always going to be a place for caring, competent, and skilled agents, always and forever. Now, where you are going to see contraction, and it already is happening, is on the buyer agent side of things. Because that's where, if I were an agent right now, getting in the business or even in the business, and I were looking at my 25 deals or 50 deals I did last year, if 90% of them are buyer sides, I'd be seriously worried, because buyer agent commissions are getting reduced. There's all kinds of downward pressure on the buyer agent side of the transaction. And it's going to be in that mode for probably at least the next 3 to 5 years. So buyers agents are definitely being abused right now in the marketplace. That's the only side of the transaction I'd worry about. But if I were an agent, what I'd be looking for is a brokerage that had an iBuyer, like eXp Realty, for example. I guess Keller Williams has one. You know what an iBuyer is?
No, explain to us, the audience, what is an iBuyer?
Let me explain to you because you don't know.
Our audience may not know either.
All right. So basically, like Zillow's doing it, right? Where Zillow will buy your house for a discount, and then you can, that's an iBuyer. Open Door does the same thing. So the idea is they go into these marketplaces and they advertise, we'll buy your house. You can choose your move out date. There's no preparing it for sale. You don't have to worry about anything. We take the hassle out of selling your house. You don't have to do with any realtors. You have to do with anything, but you're going to sell the house to us at a big discount. Okay. No matter what the market's doing, a crazy hot sellers market like this one or a crazy crappy buyers market, there's always going to be a percent of the people that would be more than willing to trade dollars for convenience. You following me?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, but so what these companies do, and you can see it in the markets that they penetrated, is they go in there and they change the expectation of the seller. So the seller then sees these advertisements and they say, I'm going to go to Zillow. I'm going to type in my address. I'm going to see what my offer is. Now then they have in their mind, well, I have an opportunity now to sell this house and enough screw around basically getting it sold. But now what Zillow is doing, and they're great business, they're pretty much every residential real estate agent's nemesis, because agents need to realize that they are your competition. But so I go, well, I'm not willing to accept that offer. That offer's too low. But what Zillow is going to start doing is they're going to then convert that to a normal listing lead and give that to, guess who? A Zillow agent, not a Zillow Premier agent. An agent working for Zillow as an employee is going to get that lead, and then they're going to go and list that house. So where the real problem is for real estate agents on the listing side is if they don't have the ability to offer an iBuyer to consumers, they're not. So, let's say 9 times out of 10, the buyer won't want to take or the seller won't want to take the discounted offer, but they are then going to be essentially in a leads funnel for your competition unless you're able to offer your own iBuyer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So is Zillow in the process of doing that now, or you think this is
No,
going
they're
to
already
be?
doing it. They're already
Oh,
doing it.
wow.
Zillow is a nationwide brokerage now. Zillow has, I think they're licensed in all 50 states. They're joining they're broker. They're a real estate brokerage, 100%.
Oh,
And Open Doors
wow.
doing the same thing, and other companies will too.
Oh,
So
wow.
their agents compensate.
I didn't know Zillow was actually doing that part, actually doing the real estate brokerage part yet. I didn't know that.
Well, it's because they're not really, they're still making a crap ton of revenue from selling leads to agents. And these agents are the ones that are funding, they're scaling up their real estate business just to have these companies then come, Zillow's going to come to their town and eat their lunch. Zillow and Open Door were testing to see how little they could co-op on the buyer agent side of the transaction of the homes that they listed, that they bought and they put back for sale, because they're just flipping these houses. And they're the ones that have determined, and if I remember this incorrectly, forgive me, that there is no detrimental effect to them only co-oping like 1.8 or 1.9%. So in other words, they
Wow.
secretly, in tandem, I think it was in Arizona and Atlanta, lowered the co-op and implied, the co-op in every transaction. And they did it sort of seeing where the bottom was and to see where the point of resistance was from the marketplace. And so they realized they could actually shave 1 basis point or 1 percentage point off the transaction. And so what that then does is it changed the seller's perception. So if sellers start realizing, I don't have to pay this buyer agent commission, or I sure as heck don't have to pay as much as, conventional brokerage is saying, that conventional listing agent, unless they have their own iBuyer, is going to have a problem. You follow me?
Yeah, I got it. I see what Zillow doing.
Yeah. And you know what? They're going to be successful at it because most of the real estate industry is very complacent. They're not going to see the writing on the wall until it's too late. Ultimately the consumer decides, right? This is, that's the nature of a free market economy. So anyway.
Oh, wow. Man, oh man, this has been a good show.
Good.
Harris Rules.
I wasn't lying.
So tell us, how can we find you or your wife? I know you guys are on Instagram.
Are we?
Where else are you guys on?
You can go to timandjulieharris.com.
Okay, and we can find you everywhere else. And make sure you pick up that book, Harris Rules. Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody pick it up.
Definitely.
This guy's full of knowledge. He's the guru of real estate.
Full of something.
All right, join us on the next IBS.